Listen, when you have believed something for so long, it's going to take. Hi, this is Teaching for Women. So you said something in your video that I wanted to talk about because it's one of the biggest deceptions from the church is that grace is unmerited favor. And our Bibles actually tell us that they're going to turn the grace of God into unmerited favor. It's already written in there. So I wanted to give you the scripture for that. And I hope you go and read it, because we are to keep the commandments, the 10 commandments, as Jehovah has commanded us to keep. That includes his Sabbath day, which is dawn Saturday to dawn Sunday. We're not to do any pagan witchcraft holidays. It's doing adultery on the Father, having other gods over him. We're not to wear crosses, go to buildings with crosses or graven images. And one of the biggest deceptions that the church has done is teach you that his grace is unmerited favor. So you think you are delivered to do those abominations. And you think you're delivered to fill your vessels with abominations, swine, lobster, the cleaners of the world, because they've taught this doctrine of devils that Yeshua came, or they call him Jesus. Jesus came and changed everything, when the Son's name is Yeshua, for he came in his Father's name. But getting off topic, the grace of God, it says in Jude chapter 1 verse 4 that there's going to be ungodly men that creep in unaware, turning the grace of God into lasciviousness, which is unbridled lust, wantonness, shamelessness. This is when you can come before the Lord in your sin and be shameless in it. This is what the church teaches. You can be a sinner, come before the Lord shameless, because you have undeserved favor. The Bible already warns you that men are going to do this in Jude chapter 1 verse 4. For in Titus 2, the grace of God that has appeared to all men of this world, it was a free gift. We didn't have to earn it. It came by Yeshua for a reason. It teaches you to deny sin and lusts of this world, the opposite of lasciviousness. How does it do that? If you look it up in the Strong's Concordance, it's G5485. It means especially divine influence upon your hearts. And one word, it means conviction. It's Jehovah's conviction that he puts on your heart. So you turn away from your sin and your lusts. He equipped you to keep those commandments if you listen to it. That's why every man of this world has a chance to be saved. But like Romans 10, they have not all obeyed the gospel. And Isaiah 28, this is the time of refreshing, but they would not hear. The pastors have become brutish and have not sought the Lord. They've scattered his flock, mixing the profane with the holy. The sin unto death in 1 John chapter 5. Worshipping other gods, Jeremiah 10, Jeremiah 4, 744. Honoring Tammuz by cutting a tree out from the forest, bringing it into your house, nailing it down so it doesn't topple over, and decking it with silver and gold, and baking cakes to the Queen of Heaven on Easter. You cannot drink from the cups of devils and the cups of Jehovah. And those were the whole reason why the northern kingdom was scattered to the four corners of the world and divorced by Jehovah, the sin unto death. His Sabbath, he tells you to keep it as he commanded in Deuteronomy chapter 5, verse 12. And he commanded it to keep it on the seventh day, the Sabbath day, the day of rest, dawn Saturday to dawn Sunday. Not after commandments of men, Yeshua rebuked the Pharisees for doing commandments of men over commandments of Jehovah. Hebrews 4. Those that don't enter into his rest, his Sabbath, have unbelief. And if Yeshua had given them rest, would he have not spoken of another day? And he never spoke of another day. He actually rose on the Sabbath. When the two Marys came to the tomb, it was before the dawning of the first day of the week, and he was already gone. The angel rebuked them, Matthew 28. He ended sacrifice midweek, Daniel 9. After he confirmed the covenant he was prophesied to refresh, Deuteronomy 4 through 6, Deuteronomy chapter 18, what was desired at Horeb, the Ten Commandments. He confirmed the covenant with many for 1 week, and then he ceased sacrifice midweek Wednesday. He gave the Pharisees the sign of Jonah. He would be in the earth 3 days and 3 nights. Wednesday night, Thursday morning, Thursday night, Friday morning, Friday night, Saturday, 3 days and 3 nights. And if whatever he said in Jehovah's name, if it didn't come to pass, we shouldn't fear him. He would be a false prophet, Deuteronomy 18. So if he wasn't that prophet, well, you can answer that. We all know he was that prophet. The pastors have become brutish and not sought the Lord. Woe to the pastors who scatter my flock, Jeremiah 23, turning the grace of God into lasciviousness. So you think you're delivered to do those abominations, right? He gripped us with his grace. Paul says, I worked harder than all the others, but not I, for the grace of God who made him who he was. Jehovah's conviction. For how can unmerited favor work harder than them all and make him who he is? If you get undeserved favor, if you sin, what makes you want to change? If you have conviction on your heart to change, that works harder than them all to make you who you are, to convict you to turn away from your sin. There's a big difference when you know what his grace truly is. You won't want to sin to spite onto it. I hope you go read the scripture I gave you. I hope you keep this Sabbath day, dawn Saturday to dawn Sunday. I hope you eat clean the 2 covenants of promise so you can be grafted in, Ephesians 2, so he can purify you unto himself a peculiar people, zealous of good works. The good works in Ephesians 2, the 2 covenants of promise.